My name is Jacob Abramovich, and you are watching Culture of the Universe. Today, on this episode, we are going to talk about clocks. I love clocks, and I think they're really interesting, so I hope at the end of this, you do too. So now we're going to start with a battery-powered wall clock. These are one of the most common types of clocks that you'll see. You'll see these everywhere. And now if we look behind it, this is what the mechanism looks like. So this is just a common battery-powered clock mechanism. You'll see this in 90% of all battery-powered clocks. Nice and simple, just with a Duracell battery. Now here is a Seth Thomas Banjo clock, which is the closest thing I could find that I had to a mechanical wall clock. Now I couldn't open this up, but here's a photo from Google Images of approximately what this mechanism looks like. So this is just another Banjo clock, so it looks something like this. And now here is a battery-powered Mantle clock. These are also really pretty clocks. And now if we turn it around and look behind it, you'll see just the same type of mechanism as you saw in the battery-powered wall clock, but this one you can actually see into, so you can see the gears and a bit more about how it works. Now we'll move to the chime sound of this clock. Now we'll move to the mechanical Mantle clock. This Mantle clock is a Howard Miller Mantle clock. And then this is pretty. So when we open the back, you can see a really good into how all the gears that help these mechanical clock run. You can see on the top is basically a miniature pendulum that helps have the clock keep good time. And now here's the chime. Now I hadn't heard of these until very recently, but this is a battery-powered grandfather clock. A bit of an unusual concept, in my opinion, but I guess it is a bit more convenient than having to wind your clock, but it still doesn't really make sense to my head. And now when we look in the back of that, just the same type of mechanism. Now I couldn't find a sample of this clock's chime, so let's just move on to the mechanical clock. Now this is a grandmother clock rather than a grandfather clock. So the difference is that this is driven via a spring wound, so driven via a key rather than actually having weights. But this is the closest thing I had. So now here is a sample of the chime for this clock. And now here is what the mechanism looks like. You can again see really good into how these clocks work. You can see the hammers and rods that make the chime. And speaking of the chime, here's what the chime sounds like. Thanks for watching this episode of Culture of the Universe. I'll see you next time. Jacob Abramovich out.